Welcome to Codex Black, where we unlock the darkest corners of history, the strangest unsolved mysteries, and the chilling truths that refuse to stay buried. Tonight, we take you deep into one of the most haunting and perplexing cases in American history, the disappearance of the Sodder children. A fire, a family torn apart, and clues that defy logic. Was it tragedy? Or something far more sinister? Keep watching, because what you're about to hear might change the way you see missing persons cases forever. On Christmas Eve, 1945, in the quiet town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, a fire destroyed the Sodder family home. George and Jenny Sodder escaped the blaze with 4 of their 10 children, but 5 of their children were never found. What happened that night has baffled investigators, haunted the Sodder family for decades, and sparked countless theories. Was it simply a tragic fire, or something far more sinister? That night, everything seemed normal. The family celebrated Christmas Eve together, exchanging gifts and enjoying each other's company. The older sons had gone to bed, while some of the younger children stayed up to play. Around 1 a.m., Jenny Sodder was awakened by the sound of something hitting the roof, followed by a rolling noise. Soon after, she smelled smoke. George tried desperately to save the children. He broke windows, cutting himself in the process. He tried to reach the attic where the 5 children were sleeping, but couldn't. Strangely, the family's ladder, which was always propped against the house, was missing. George's truck wouldn't start, even though it had worked perfectly the day before. The phone lines were dead. Within 45 minutes, the home was reduced to ash. Firefighters didn't arrive until later that morning, and what they found or didn't find shocked everyone. There were no remains of the 5 children. Not a bone. Not a fragment. The fire chief suggested the blaze was hot enough to cremate the bodies, but experts disagreed. Cremation takes hours at much higher temperatures. Appliances in the basement were recognizable. Why wouldn't there be any trace of the children? Soon, more strange clues began to emerge. A telephone repairman confirmed that the house's phone line had been deliberately cut, not damaged by the fire. A neighbor said they saw someone stealing mechanical parts from George's truck the night of the fire, possibly explaining why it wouldn't start. A bus driver claimed to have seen people throwing balls of fire at the house. The rolling sound Jenny had heard could have been an incendiary device. Jenny tested this herself, burning animal bones in an oven to see if they would completely disintegrate. They didn't. Investigators offered little help. The fire was blamed on faulty wiring, but George had recently had the house rewired and inspected. A coroner's jury ruled the children dead. Still, no death certificates were issued. The Sodders, convinced their children had been kidnapped, launched their own investigation. A woman claimed she saw the children peering out of a car window while the fire raged. Another woman in Charleston, 50 miles away, said she saw the kids with 2 men and 2 women of Italian appearance. A hotel owner said she saw 4 of the children a week after the fire, accompanied by 2 adults. According to her, they registered at the hotel using false names and appeared secretive. Theories exploded. Some pointed to George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini. Could this have drawn retaliation from pro-fascist sympathizers? The local mafia? George received threats before the fire. One man warned, "Your house is going to go up in smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed." Still, no solid evidence surfaced. In 1949, George had the site excavated. A pathologist found small human vertebrae, but they were determined to have come from someone in their late teens or early 20s, older than any of the missing children. And crucially, the bones hadn't been exposed to fire. Were they planted? In the 1950s, the Sodders put up a billboard on Route 16 with the children's photos and a reward for information. It became a landmark, standing for nearly 4 decades. People kept calling in tips. One letter came from a woman in St. Louis, claiming the children were being raised in a convent. A bar patron in Texas overheard someone bragging about starting the Sodder fire, but none of these leads panned out. Then in 1967, a letter arrived addressed to Jenny. Inside was a photo of a young man around 30, with dark hair and a strong resemblance to their missing son Louis. On the back were cryptic numbers and a note that read, "Louis Sodder. I love brother Frankie. Allele boys." A 90,132 or 35. The family hired a private detective to go to Kentucky, where the letter had been postmarked. He vanished. They never heard from him again. The Sodders clung to hope, convinced their children had survived. But they also feared powerful forces had silenced those who knew too much. Jenny wore black for the rest of her life, a symbol of mourning, and slept in a chair by the billboard, waiting for answers that never came. She died in 1989. George passed away years earlier. The billboard came down in the 1990s, but the case remains open. The mystery of the Sodder children has never been solved. Were the children kidnapped in the chaos of the fire? Was it a cover-up? Were they trafficked or sold? Or did they die in the fire, with all physical evidence somehow lost? No theory fully explains every detail. And so, it lives on, not just as a story of personal loss and a family's relentless search for truth, but as one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries. As the years pass, one question echoes louder than ever. What really happened to the Sodder children? The mystery of the Sodder children continues to echo across decades, a story written in ash, silence, and unanswered questions. Was it a coincidence or a cover-up? One thing is certain, the truth has never come home. If this story chilled you, confused you, or made you question everything you thought you knew, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss the next twist we uncover. This is Codex Black, where secrets don't stay hidden for long. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your mind sharper.